I would like to think that the food scene in St. Augustine is becoming cultured and refined in a way that a lot of cities take much longer to get to.
And recently, Southern Living named it to the top 5 of good dining in the South, which was really fun to see.
The food scene in St. Augustine seems to have really benefited from its history, but also from its great tradition of tourism.
My grandparents served Henry Flagler here in 1900. Flagler stopped at a dock right behind me. There's been a dock there since the 1880s. And asked my grandparents to prepare some oysters for he and his friends. And that was done, and they passed the hat. And that was the beginning of expanded meals and the boats to bring people up here. For 25 cents, you could take a boat ride up to North Beach, and for another 25 cents, you had oysters and Perlo. The lure of an oyster roast was probably just another reason for a party.
Shortly after he opened his hotels, Henry Flagler realized he was going to need a supply of fresh vegetables, produce for all of his guests. And that led to the founding of a farming community. One could say that Henry Flagler was one of the original proponents of the farm-to-table dining in St. Augustine.
If you'd come here in the 50s, it would have probably been Pappy's over in West Augustine. It was fried shrimp all you can eat. The shrimp were entirely split, not just fanned, but split all the way back to the tail, breaded very lightly, and fried quickly. And that was the St. Augustine style. And that was the heyday of the shrimp industry. In more recent years, I've got to throw in Gene Johnson, so well known. Those oysters were cooked over a metal plate over fire and with wet croaker sacks.
It really has expanded beyond just the small town fish and seafood from the 60s and the 70s into having a global cuisine available on a daily basis.
A long history of really well-known and well-regarded culinarians that have come out of this region.
Some of the more creative, artistic new residents of St. Augustine in the 70s and 80s brought what we call the urban cuisine.
They came here to visit, but they stayed, and when they stayed, they lent their expertise and their passion to the food scene, but also to the culture of the city.
So that's allowed a dining culture and a dining scene to develop in St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra that appeals to all of those different types of diners.
So the influx of grounded culinarians who are doing true cooking with passion, but still with an eye on business and sustainability, is only going to bode well for the future of St. Augustine. And that's something that's going to maintain St. Augustine as a place to visit continually, not just now, not just 5 years from now, but probably for hundreds of years, just as the city has been around hundreds of years.